Well, in order to know what we want to do in 2025, what we want to do better, what did we do in 2024 that we didn't like? Or perhaps that we did like, that we could do over again. So I'm going to give a very quick, hopefully, review of 2024. Starting with words of the year. Brain rot was the word of the year for 2024 from Oxford. It is defined as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material. What do you think they're thinking about? Facebook, too much social media, too much this. Brat is the word of the year from Collins Dictionary, defined as someone who is confident, independent, and hedonistic. Demure, the word of the year from dictionary.com, which went viral on TikTok, and it came from a video which was how to be demure at work. Demure. Polarization, the word of the year from Merriam-Webster. It refers to the growing divide in public opinion, beliefs, political attitudes, leading to extreme differences between groups. Suppose we saw any of that last year? Manifest, the word of the year from Cambridge, to show something clearly through signs or actions. Now, perhaps Brat will explain this picture. Sotheby's recently sold a banana taped to a wall for $6.2 million. So I decided I would donate this to Darlene Larson for our next auction event, and that should take care of any shortfalls in our budget. Now, would you believe that spiritual studies this morning, I popped in for a few minutes to say hi, they were talking about this. So I guess it was pretty important. Now, here are some significant events, and I'll try to run through these. We had a total solar eclipse in April. More Americans were homeless compared to 2023, with families continuing to struggle to pay for rent and other necessities. More than 771,000 people lived without housing. So is it any wonder we had 41 people in Jacksonville who died? It's probably more than this because they did the study during the winter when homeless were harder to find. So it really is an ongoing problem. Now, the space station, if you look up, you might be able to see the twinkle of the International Space Station, where U.S. astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sue Williams are still circling the Earth. Now, I hope these two people get along with each other because they blasted off in June, and because of some difficulties, they're still up there, and they will not be coming back till March, which is 9 months alone up there. So let's wish them good luck. Now, who knew so much time and effort would be spent to be sure men and women used the right bathroom? Can you imagine if we put all that energy into helping the homeless? No, we want to make sure you use the right bathroom. Gender issues were a major topic in 2024, as well as abortion laws. Biden withdrew from the race and endorsed Kamala Harris and as his replacement with Governor Tim Walz in the VP slot. She had 107 days to campaign, not very much. We learned that immigrants are eating cats and dogs, and we learned a new word, woke. And some of our favorite books were removed from library shelves. 2 assassination attempts were made on President Trump, who is a convicted felon. Democrats were called childless cat ladies by J.D. Vance. Elon Musk, the planet's richest person, endorsed Trump and donated heavily to his campaign. Guess how much? $250 million. There are going to be a couple in 2025, I hear. We all know what happened in November. Trump was elected to be the 47th president of the United States. His margin of victory was very slender, 49.9% to 48.4%, but he swept all 7 swing states. Democrats also lost the Senate, failed to take the House, and see their electoral coalition shattered. His first cabinet picks, RFK Jr., Matt Gaetz, Kash Patel, and others have stirred much controversy. And I would like, at this point, while you're thinking about all that Trump stuff, I'd like to interject this quote from the Dalai Lama. We can let the circumstances of our lives harden us so that we become increasingly resentful and afraid, or we can let them soften us and make us kinder. You always have the choice. Again, the U.S. continued to avoid a recession in 2024. Israel's campaign against Hamas in Gaza has killed more than 45,300 Palestinians. Most of the population of 2.3 million people have been displaced. Can you imagine living in a tent with, where do they get food? I think about that all the time, and they're being bombed on, and much of Gaza is in ruins. The war was triggered by a Hamas attack on Israel in which 1,200 people were killed and 251 taken prisoner. Russia took the offense in Ukraine. Russian casualties exceed 115,000 with 500,000 wounded. Ukraine has lost 43,000 troops with 43,000 wounded. And in November, the U.S. approved the Ukraine's use of our long-range missiles. So Putin may be waiting for Trump to get in office before anything positive might happen there. In 2024, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea began collaborating together to diminish U.S. power in world affairs. This has been called the axis of autocracies. So look for this in 2025. The Sudanese civil war continues with 60,000 killed and 1 million displaced of the 50 million inhabitants. Artificial intelligence continues to astound as well as cause concern. And I sure wish I knew more about it. I don't get it. I don't know how it works. Now let's move to sports. The Chiefs became the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls since the Patriots in 2003. Noah Lyles is the fastest man alive by 0.004 of a second. He won his race, and he won the gold medal, and he's the first American man in 20 years to win the event. Iowa guard Caitlin Clark became the NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer in women's and men's basketball. Florida Panthers won their first ever Stanley Cup championship. In 2024, the Jaguars' record is, sorry, Pete, is 4 wins and 12 losses, placing them third in the AFC South. Now, Simone Biles cemented herself as champion of the world. She took gold in individual all-around at the Paris Olympics, led the team to the top of the podium, and she broke 13 records this summer, including she's the most decorated U.S. champion gymnast ever to take home 3 gold medals and 1 silver, bringing her total count to 11, and she's also the oldest person to do this. And she just won the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year. Go Simone. Now, weather. Weather has done a lot in 2024. And what is going to happen in 2025? CO2 in the atmosphere continues to grow. 2024 was the hottest year on record, with 24 weather-related natural disasters in the United States, causing $1 billion in damage. Northwest wildfires and droughts happened in the Northeast. The September Hurricane Helene was a killer. Big Bend, Florida, was where it hit. It was the most intense on record. 140-mile-per-hour Category 4 winds, 15-foot storm surge, massive flooding, 2,000 landslides, 4 million people without power, 225 deaths. Hurricane Milton, 2 weeks later, hit land on Siesta Key with a record tornado outbreak. There were rare desert floods in the Arabian Peninsula. And we're going to see, I think, this year, some more kind of weird weather, things that we haven't seen before. Let's go to entertainment. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are a duo. Her Eras tour grossed $2 billion and helped many cities' economy. And she also gives a lot of money to charity. So that's a good thing. The Beyonce Bowl, acclaimed for performance at the Texas Ravens game. You can see that on Netflix, I think. It's quite an extravaganza. The top 3 grossing movies were Inside Out 2, which I haven't seen, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and Wicked. Haven't seen any of them. Anybody see those? Hope they were good. Oppenheimer won the Academy Award for Best Picture last year. Now, I'm just going to do a few Jacksonville events. What happened in Jacksonville? The Jaguars finalized a 30-year stadium deal with the city. Did you have anything to do with that, Peter? A $1.4 billion lease deal was finalized with the new stadium opening in 2028. Former JEO CEO Aaron Zahn is facing prison in January due to committing the largest fraud in Jacksonville history. Hurricane season brought near misses to Jacksonville with minor damage and power losses. We were fortunate compared to the location all the locations south of us. We really missed it. We were lucky. The Rise Doro apartment complex in downtown Jacksonville was destroyed by fire days before the first residents were to move in. It was over on the South Bank. UF will locate a $300 million graduate campus around the convention center. There was an interesting letter to the editor in the paper today, written by somebody I know. I think it was David Lafitte, about the pros and cons of this, and I really suggest you read it. It was excellent. Thank you, David. 5 elementary schools were approved to shut down at the end of the school year, and Ron DeSantis decided lights on the Acosta should be red, white, and blue on Pride Day on May 31st. However, the LGBTQ community advocates took positions on the pedestrian walkway on the Acosta Bridge, and they had special lights with them, and they did their own lights and bathed the bridge in the rainbow sequence they wanted. A little bit of health news. We now have AI-assisted colonoscopies, and these can find things much better than what they've been doing in the past. They have a new treatment for prostate cancer, which spares healthy tissue. And better Alzheimer drugs. We certainly need that because with the older population growing, we need really to work on that disease because it affects so many. And there are insulin pumps that can be inserted into your body so you don't have to stick yourself periodically, and the pump just does it for you. That sounds pretty cool. Now, this is really cool. When you go to Publix and you put your hands on the cart to push your cart, it can detect atrial fibrillation. They they have supermarket carts that can detect atrial fibrillation just by putting your hand on the cart. Pretty cool, huh? All right, that's kind of an overview. We had a few good things, a lot of bad things. We gotta get our act together for 2025. Now, I'm just going to read quickly the list of celebrities who died in 2024. Quincy Jones, Terry Garr, Liam Payne, the Band One member who fell from the hotel room, Ethel Kennedy, Pete Rose, Judith Jamison, Chris Christopherson, Maggie Smith, James Earl Jones, John Amos, Phil Donahue, Gina Rowland, Bob Newhart, Richard Simmons, Dr. Ruth Westheimer, she was 87, Martin Mull, Shelley Duvall, Donald Sutherland, Willie Mays, Bill Walton, Dabney Coleman, O.J. Simpson, Steve Lawrence, Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader who was poisoned with nerve gas, Charles Osgood, Glynis Johns, and lastly, you know who, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter at 100. Here is a quote from Jane Goodall. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Think about that. What kind of difference do you want to make? Let's hope our 2025 year demonstrates hope, love, kindness, and peace. May it be so.